Welcome, I'm your host, Malcolm Gallagher. From our BizVision studios in the UK, you're watching the BVTV network. As the world tries to swim to the surface following the pandemic, there's a few things that are for certain amidst all this uncertainty. And one is that today and tomorrow's successful leaders will be conscious leaders with a clearer focus on planet, people, and profits. But where do those leaders come from? What's their psyche to arrive at such consciousness and ability to achieve? I have my own thinking, as you can see at bizvision.co.uk, but I thought, why not get some outside expert opinion? Oh, and why not combine it with, say, a friendly chat over coffee in somewhere warm like Greece? What an excuse to revisit author, life coach, and motivational speaker David Armstrong at home in Greece. Welcome back, David.
Thank you so much, Malcolm. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to be back.
Yeah. And look, I'm going to be nice to you, even though what you just did before we went on air is to take your camera and show me outside that beautiful weather that you're having in Greece, you know?
Yeah, it's okay here. It's not too bad. I have zero complaints. Zero complaints.
Right. Oh, okay. But it is lovely to see you again. I thoroughly enjoyed our last inspiring chat, and
Thank you.
I think we're going to just continue that today, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm delighted you're kindly revisiting us here at BizVision and guesting on our enterprising BVTV Today's Leader channel. In this BVTV show, I'll be talking to David in my traditional three parts. First, I'll ask him about finding the vision and values that conscious leaders need. And in part two, I want to talk to him about his unlimited potential business. And do we all have it in us? And in part three, we'll delve into some aspects that are around his book by asking him how his character changed during his time in the military. Did he become more conscious? But Dave, before we get into our three-part talk, can you please briefly reintroduce yourself to my viewers and listeners, who you are, what you do for people, and what's your book about?
Who am I, Malcolm? I am a person that just loves people. I realize that I have a very unique percentage that I am part of. And that percent is the people that have come out of what they were destined to be and have totally changed that. And what I mean by that is I was destined to be dead by now. Like, wow. That's where I grew up. That's how I grew up. And I don't exaggerate that whatsoever. I grew up in the hood. I grew up without parents. I grew up just really rough, doing really bad things, constantly fighting, in and out of juvenile detention, foster homes, group homes, boys' homes. My mom died when I was 12 years old and left me with no one. I had no family, no one to take care of me. And look, I've worked with kids, hundreds of kids, if not thousands, in the same situation. And I know the statistics, and I know that the statistics are not in their favor, and they weren't in mine either. So I've been able to get out of what I was destined for and really turn my life around, really be able to help others turn their lives around. All the way through 24 years in the Air Force, owning businesses, mentoring, like I said, hundreds, if not thousands of young people and parents. And now I'm sitting here retired when I'm 47. I just had a birthday the other day.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm retired at 47 here in Greece. And I know that that's a dream for a lot of people. And the truth is, making it out of the hood and out of the situation that I was in was a dream for me, as well as thousands, hundreds of thousands.
Just explain to us, UK people in particular, what the hood is, by the way.
The hood. So what you see on TV, what you see, the gang violence. I grew up during in the 80s, during the crack introduction into the hood. So we at the beginning, we just had, when I was growing up, we just had weed, right? And then all of a sudden crack hit the hood, the area. And we're talking about ghetto. We're talking about, poverty. I mean, poverty at its best. And things changed after crack hit the area, Los Angeles and California. And all of a sudden, drug dealers were making a lot of money from crack because crack is highly addictive. And so instead of just selling a little bit of weed, now we're selling crack to people that want it more, that are going to do anything for another rock. And so it got tremendously bad in the 80s. I'm talking like really, really, really bad. Violence and shootings and deaths and blah, 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 just skyrocketed. And so that's where I grew up. And I'll tell you, like I said, the kids that are growing up, the people that are in that type of situation are destined for a specific outcome.
Yeah. You are the catalyst to help children change. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm not using the word kids because my mother, who was 94, would slap my head again. Kids are goats. But anyway, you help those children. What was the spark that changed you then? How did you change?
It's funny. I had 2 interviews yesterday. I do a lot of interviews for my book and for the business. And I had 2 interviews, and ironically, the exact same verbatim thing came up both times as well as today. And the spark was 2 people. So I'll preface with, if you're in the position to get involved and help, do. The end. If you're in the position of the mindset, of the financial resources, whatever it is, if you're in the position to get involved, do. And that's a widespread statement. I don't care if it's kids, if it's adults, whatever you're getting involved with, get involved. Because if you don't, and so if I just sit back, relax, just chill, play PlayStation, hit the beach, hang out with friends, I would be doing a disservice. No, I'd be robbing someone of the future they could potentially have because of what I went through.
Yeah. Well,
let me say that, Malcolm, let me say it again. I'm going to say it again. I would be robbing people of my greatness, right? Because I didn't do it alone. So the spark were 2 people. My martial arts instructor, Sensei Otto Johnson, that's him there. That
right.
Big old guy. Yeah. Big old guy. And he's 6'10", 300, wow. 200 and something pounds, 250, I think, somewhere around there. Big old guy. Him and my guardian ad litem. And I'll explain what a guardian ad litem is. But him and my guardian ad litem, Ron Barnick, were the 2 people that saved my life. Literally. Almost like pulling me out of a burning car, right?
Wow.
Exactly what they did. And they didn't even know that they were saving my life. They were just doing what their heart told them to do. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you never know. Get involved. You never know who that person's going to end up being or not being. Right?
Yeah.
I didn't go kill somebody like my foster brothers have, right? Unfortunately, I have 2 foster brothers that I'm very close with, and one's in jail for the rest of his life for murder. And the other, I mean, that's typical for where I grew up. That's just the norm, unfortunately. And my other brother, who I'm also very close with, foster brother, he's in jail. I just wrote him last night, and he wrote me back today. This is just the reality. So you just getting involved could be saving someone's life, someone else's life, that maybe that kid, that person is going to end up hurting. I mean, look at all the school shootings, people going crazy and going into malls and movie theaters and killing each other. Now, you guys had incidents there in London where people were on the bridge stabbing, or spraying people with acid. These people, look, we're not born, right? It's not an innate thing to hate each other. No. That's developed. Yeah. So if you get involved, you can at minimum keep someone from hating other people and doing harm.
Brilliant. Yeah.
and look at what you could be doing. You could be helping them just, I mean, soar in life and impact others. Like, fortunately, I have.
That was brilliantly said, David. And
Thank you,
another
sir.
reason why I'm so anxious to come back to see you in Greece. Let's start our talk in part one. As we've been discussing, you've been pulled many ways across your life and experienced, really, as you just said, being at the bottom, the worst of the worst. Many people are down there at the moment. They may be saddened, worried, anxious. The pandemic has caused a huge amount of impact, hasn't it? What do you say to them to find their true vision and values so that they can rise up and move forward?
You know, I hate to say the C word, but COVID has really turned people's lives upside down.
More than that.
Yeah.
Spin them round and round. Yeah.
It's so sad. And you can listen to people from all over the world in all types of situations, and they will have all types of scenarios or experiences with this. From, hey, you know, I made $1 million just because I had an investment in masks and it just took off. To, hey, you know what? My grandma died. My grandpa died. My mom died.
And I couldn't hold a hand. Yeah.
Yeah. Great point. And I couldn't even be there when they did. So it's just unfortunate that there's the spectrum that we're looking at goes from horrible to great, you know? So, you know, what do you say to people when they're dealing with, when they're going through? There's a couple of things. One, this is just life. This is just life. And unfortunately, there's good and bad in life. And so you're going to have to learn how to build resilience.
Yeah.
Tenacity.
That's not easy though, is it, David?
It's not.
It's easy to build muscle because you can do those physical exercises, but to build resilience is building muscle in the brain, is it not?
Yeah, well, you know what, Malcolm? It's not taught either. It's not taught. You had to take gym class. You didn't have to take resiliency class when you were in high school or junior high.
Yeah.
So, and that's an even more important aspect of our personal development and who we're made up of now more than ever, because we have a lot of things that are pulling us in the opposite direction, to not be resilient, to be complacent, to just kind of meander through life. And when you get an up, you kind of go, okay, great. And when you get a down, you kind of go, okay, I'm depressed. And it doesn't have to be like that, but it's going to take work. And you can't work on yourself while you're going through either, right? So it's not necessarily the time to go, okay, I'm going to develop this, you know, great resilience right now. And my mom just died from COVID and I couldn't even be in the hospital. No. It's time to grieve. Maybe it's time to figure out like what you need to do to get over that particular situation at that particular time. And then there are things that can help you get over those situations, like meditation and I want to say in friendships, but we can't really connect too much with people. No. But you know, connecting even over Zoom. Connecting. Joining support groups and things like that. Like it's ever so easy these days to connect with people from all over the world.
Yeah, I mean, I'm finding that as well, David. I'm always a half full person, but it's been getting at me, the fact that I've got 2 grandchildren I haven't seen for a year, and they're only 90 miles away, you know, and had his 1-year-old birthday, and you haven't been able to give them a cuddle. So even somebody like me who likes to feel that they're resilient, you know, and I do motivational speaking, we can get demotivated.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have to, for us that have developed that muscle, that skill, and made it a trait, we have to realize that we're human also, right?
Yeah.
And we're it's okay to look in the mirror sometimes and go, man,
Hmm.
I
So
don't
how,
like me right now.
yeah. So how do we keep exercising our resilience muscle? I know that's not quite the right yeah, medical
Yeah.
terms, but you know what I'm getting at, don't you?
Well, yeah, the funny thing is, when I think about resilience and when I speak about resilience, I think about kids and
Mm.
how if you look at two 5-year-olds playing on the playground, they seem pretty resilient. They'll slide, they'll flip, they'll run, they'll fall, they'll cry, they'll get back up. And so if you think about two 5-year-olds, they're not limited by anything,
Mm.
right? They don't feel like they're limited by the fall or the
Or
big
do you
slide.
perceive, or is it that you're perceiving they're not limited?
Well, yeah, they're perceiving that they're not limited.
Mm.
They are. And so, if you're gonna build that muscle, if you're going to, I don't want to say build, if you're going to go back to, right, if you're going to get your mind back to going, you know what,
Mm.
I can do this. I'm okay. I can deal with this. You have to figure you out first. I see a lot. I study personal development and follow a lot of gurus and stuff like that. And the ones that I really like, the motivational speakers and people, life coaches that I really like, are the ones that don't take a cookie cutter approach to
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Because I know I have clients that don't like to meditate, right? And so I can't sit there and say, I love meditating. I do it every morning, but I
Mm.
can't sit there and say meditation is going to make you better. If you hate it and it's making your day suck, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Find something else, right? There's a million things you can do to develop mental tenacity or to clear your mind or to just help you gain perspective.
Yeah. Mine is, I try meditation and I'm quite good at doing affirmations by myself and everything. But strangely enough, mine is 2 candles and dinner with my wife.
And so you figured it out, Malcolm. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, you figured it out. You tried something. I tell people all the time, try it for 3 months. If you don't like it, stop it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
whatever it is, a
Yeah.
new skill, learning how to meditate, yoga, whatever it is, 3 months, give it 3 months, right? If you don't like it, stop. There's a million things. Everyone's not the same. It'd be
Yeah.
a boring world if we were all the same. My goodness.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm brilliant. David, before we move to part 2, I'd just like to remind viewers and listeners of your website URL, which is obviously for viewers on the screen behind me, but for listeners, let me just read that out for you. It's all the W's, UPNA, UPNA, upna.net. Upnet.net. And if you go there, you'll find the links to David's book, but also watch at the end of this video after my interview with David, and I'll put up some more interesting information about his book for you. David, time for part 2. Let's move to talking about unlimited potential, which is UPNA. We've just been talking about. Yeah. Does everyone have unlimited potential in them? If everyone does, then what holds them back? What's the catalyst, the spark that can cause the explosion towards success? I know we all need plodders in our businesses, and not everyone can be at the top. But how do those that have the aspiration get there?
Okay. No, we don't all have unlimited potential. I'd be a horrible life coach if I said that. Horrible motivational speaker. Get him out the room. Yeah, we do. We do. But, I'll digress a little bit about what I said with the kids. We kind of lose our ability to connect with our unlimited potential as we age. And it's not tied to age, it's tied to experience. And it's not just tied to experience, it's tied to bad experiences or negative experiences or perceived negative experiences that we have throughout life, our failures. And so some people experience a failure and go into depression, right? And some, or just give up, just stop trying, okay, that didn't work, forget it, I guess I'm not good enough. I don't know how to play the piano. And they didn't really try, right? They didn't really do it. And some people that really did do it, they go, okay, I suck at this, and well, I guess I'm not good at music at all. And then they never explore and try and do and want and desire. So creating that intrinsic motivation within yourself to consistently fail, get up, try, fail, get up, try, fail, get up, try. Don't ponder on the failure too much. Ponder on it a little bit, because sometimes we can learn a lot from our failure, right? I personally, when I have these ideas constantly, I'll wake up at 3 a.m. I'll go to the restroom, come back, lay down. And, do you?
Me too.
And I'm like, I got an idea for this. I got a speech. I got it, and I don't stop. And so eventually I'll go back to sleep, but I always grab my phone, which I shouldn't have on my nightstand, but I grab my phone and I'll put notes. I got notes about speeches and seminars and all kinds of great stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll get up and I'll do my morning meditation and stretching and everything, and I'll get to work and I'll review my notes, and I'm like, okay, how do I start this? How do I implement this? How do I do this? And I'll go, and then sometimes those things that I thought about don't work out. They just,
I've learned, by the way, David, I've learned to put the light on to write my notes, because I can't read them the next day.
I remember when I was younger, before the cell phones, I would have a pen and a piece of paper on my nightstand, and same thing. I got nothing. Don't know what that means. Scribble.
Yes, I know. And it was probably my best ever idea. That's
I know, right?
Yeah. But isn't it fascinating how the mind, you can go to bed with a thought and say to the mind, get on and find the answer. And it does.
Yeah. I love it. I'm a very thoughtful person, but that was a developed skill or trait. Like I had to develop that over time. And I really believe if people work on developing that muscle, that habit of consistently just be thinking and trying and doing and not afraid of failure. And I don't call my ideas failures, right? If I have an idea for a new life coaching program or something and it doesn't work out, I always examine why it didn't work out. And if I'm not ready to tackle it again or try to implement it again, I call it a shelf.
Right.
I'll put it on my shelf.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take it down again, because my ideas are good. I like me. I like my ideas. And so when I take it off the shelf again, I'm going to go, okay, I tried this, and this, and this. Didn't work out. Let me try something else. Because the idea itself is good. Maybe the implementation was bad. Maybe the timing was bad. All sorts of things. So a lot of people go through life and they fail, and then they just, it kind of chips away at their ego.
Yeah.
Right. And then for some reason we go, forget it. Trying sucks. I don't like it anymore.
Yeah, no, you can't lose that. I mean, I've had lots of failures in my life. I mean, I think I'm on volume 65 of them, something like that.
But volume 65.
Yeah.
I heard
plenty of them. And when you've been down there, I've always had the mantra, no problems, only opportunities. And so when I caused a problem, or a problem's been thrust upon me many, many different ways, then I look for the opportunity. And that's why, for example, I'm talking to you. We had the problem I couldn't drive because of pandemic, my business all stopped overnight. But I'm looking for the opportunity, and the opportunities, I'm meeting people like you around the world now, aren't I? So
I appreciate that. Yeah, that's the truth, Malcolm. That's just the truth. A lot of people don't say, you know what, I'm going to do a show and I'm going to be talking to people and getting to know people and enjoying their company. A lot of people will say, this sucks. I'm just going to sit at home and binge Netflix for the next year.
Right. No.
Yeah, I mean, that's the truth, right?
Yeah, I just think my wife would be sitting eating your calamari olives, and I'd be sitting there, far too much fix or whatever they call the beer that used to be there. Okay, David, it's time for part 3. You were 24 years in the US Air Force. Give us 3 or 4 personal changes or habits that were brought about in your character during that time that you still apply today, and a link to leadership. Yeah.
Okay. So I think the first thing I would say is any good leader needs to make sure that he takes care or she takes care of themselves. And so what do I mean? We talked about meditation, fitness, mental tenacity, education, making sure that you're taking care of yourself first. Because if you're 50%, you can only give 50%. If you're 100%, you can give 100%. And I profoundly believe that. A lot of people end up digging themselves into a ditch by trying to take care of other people before they look out for themselves first. And I'm certainly not saying be selfish or narcissistic. What I'm saying is you can't adequately take care of your troops or the people that are working for you or your friends or family if you're not 100%. So figure out how to get to 100%.
Yeah.
The second thing I would say is really take care of other people. Like make that something that you strive to do. Like better other people's lives in some way, shape, or form, especially if we're talking about leadership. Your job should be to ensure that other people can do their job at 100% every single day. And if things are getting in a way of that, if other people's personal lives are getting in the way of that, if someone has suffered a loss, if someone is going through financial hardships, they can't be 100%. So your job is to try to figure that out for them, right? When they're working for you, your job is to try to ensure that your work center, your company, your people are at 100%, whatever that means, whatever that takes.
Can I just interrupt that?
Yes.
Do you think that skill of doing that then becomes a habit? Should you make it into a habit?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. When, if you hear this and this resonates with you and you go, you know what, that is something that I'm not doing. And it's going to take, so I'm all about behavior modification. When I work with people, I'm very centric around setting yourself up to modify behavior, because the truth is we're complacent creatures. Biologically, we're meant to be complacent. The end. Our minds want to be settled. Our bodies want to be settled, so it's effort for you to not be complacent. So in instilling a program around modifying a behavior is necessary. And so you might hear this and go, that's something that I don't do. I don't ensure that I'm really looking after the people that are working for me. If that's 2,000, 200,000, right? And obviously the bigger your company, the less you can individually look after people, but there are plenty of things that you can do to spread that, right?
Yeah.
With your managers, you can instill that culture within the company to where people are looking out for each other. So the managers are looking out for the people that are working for them. The people that are working on the ground, say you have a factory, are looking out for each other. But that's a cultural thing within the company that you have to instill and develop, right? So this is absolutely something that is going to take time. And again, it will become a culture of your company, of yourself, of the expectations that you have within everyone around you. And this transcends well beyond just work, right? Well beyond just a company. This transcends into your personal life, right?
Yeah.
You can be the type of person that says, I want to grab everyone by the hand and make sure that I'm lifting them up. I want you to have a better day after you speak with me, even if it's a negative interaction, right? When I say negative, even if I have to reprimand you,
Yeah. I'm with you.
I want you to go, yeah. You know,
Yeah.
I learned something. It sucks. It doesn't feel good to fail. It doesn't feel good to be reprimanded, but yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
he didn't yell at me and cuss and act like an ass, right? He came with compassion and understanding and said, you know what, you screwed up. Here's how we're going to fix it. Here's a reprimand for it. We can't keep having it. Otherwise, we're going to have to fire you. But we're not even going to really go down that route because this is a one-off.
I want to continue with those changes, by the way. And I want, before we give me any more, you're a great communicator. Now,
thank you.
Did you learn that was that a habit? Because my experience with people who have been in the hood, as you call it, and you know, we've got ghettos and other things in the UK, and I've worked with those as well, are that they're not good communicators. They're glum, you know, they're like the teenager that won't talk to mum, yeah, type of thing. Yeah, but you're a great communicator. Did the Air Force bring that out of you?
So I'll answer that in two parts, Malcolm. So one, I remember in my book, I have a picture of this report card or a progress report. And I was in the 4th grade or 6th grade, one of the two. And my teacher said, I'm a natural leader. I lead in the classroom, 4th or 6th grade, something like that. I lead in the classroom, but I was kind of a bad kid. So I ended up leading people or the other kids to do bad things. Right.
Okay.
So I think part of who I am and the ability to communicate effectively is innate. I think some reason, and you know, some people are just more charismatic. People are drawn to them more when they speak, when they're around that person. That's just, you know, sometimes that's just an innate ability, but it's also been developed through the Air Force, through, you know, if you're a motivational speaker and you want to be good, you're consistently in the mirror, you know, recording yourself and learning how to articulate things, how to say things in a way that people resonate with a little more, because the ultimate goal is for people to become better after you speak, right? I don't want someone to pay me $5,000, $10,000 to go speak and everyone leaves the same.
Yes.
Well, gosh, then I'm a thief. I don't want to be a thief, right?
No.
I want to help people. So it's two-part. I think there's some sort of innate thing that I was just born with. It's a trait or something that, you know, somehow this leadership and effective communication was kind of part of who I am. And then the Air Force, oh yeah, I mean, you have school for this. They send you to school to learn how to speak and effectively communicate in leadership schools. So these are definitely skills that are developed over time, that are really homed in, and then you kind of make them your personal thing, like how you lead, because everyone's different, right?
Yeah. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. And you enjoyed that time of 24 years. Huh?
Yeah. I loved it.
And I can still see that, because I can see lots of places around wherever I go where your uniform is proudly displayed. Displayed.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. It, you know, part of what the answer to your question was the Air Force motto. So service before self, or integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. And so you have to have integrity with yourself and what you're doing. You have to have the mindset of helping others when you're 100%, and being excellent, being great. You know, don't settle for mediocre.
Yeah.
You know, don't be complacent. And that goes down to your everyday life. That goes down to, if you get a salad that's not good and you're paying for it, it's okay to say, this is not really good. Can we redo this? And everyone in that chain, from the waitress or waiter saying, oh, this is not good, we're going to fix that right away, to the cook, to the sous chef, whatever, saying, I didn't make a good salad, I need to fix this right now, right? Instead of being offended by it, going, this is a learning opportunity, I need to fix this.
Yeah. I love that. I love that, David, without a doubt. Well, my coffee cup is empty. The tavernas are still closed. So I guess it's time to say goodbye to Greece, but not before I thank David Armstrong for his great thinking about leadership. Thanks, David, for yet again a great interview.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you so much, Malcolm. Thank you, all your listeners. I hope that that I bestowed a little bit of positivity and some nuggets of truth and improvement to everyone.
Without a doubt you did. And for viewers and listeners, just hang on, and here's a little bit of details about David's book. Be further inspired by getting Dave's book, Why Me? My Fight for Life, at Amazon or the website on the screen.